fast.
Well, that's one of the areas we want to get the ball in is we can throw it in the backcourt. With all that space, Braun's obviously a great passer in that situation, and Dennis has the speed to do that. But we have defined spaces where we want to put guys in that type of action to get it in.
What do you think was the biggest difference tonight, Frank?
I think a lot of guys contributed. I think it was a team win. It was far from perfect, obviously. Our defense was, obviously missed AD, probably more on the defensive end even than the offensive end. But we competed. We grinded through it. Zach Levine obviously started the game, and Kobe White super hot. And we just had a lot of guys, contribute. I thought Alex and Talon off the bench were really good. Duds gives us a big stretch right there. We were contributing with some, we were struggling with some coverages. Kuz knocked down a couple threes. Keith hit a big three late. Trez obviously was terrific. Braun carried a big load. He and Dennis worked together well in the pick and roll. And Wes got real hot too. In that third quarter, I think he had 4 threes, maybe all in that third. So I think we just, we hung in there. It was we weren't playing our best basketball, second night of back to back, but we hung in there, competed, and grinded it out.
Kyle?
Yeah, Frank, you mentioned the back-to-back contributed. Where do you think that maybe, I don't know if the word you used would be fatigue, but where do you think maybe some of those legs of the back-to-back showed up in the game today, and how do you feel like, what were the ways that you felt like guys grinded or sort of competed, especially in the fourth quarter?
Honestly, really all the ways I just said. I went through the list of our roster of all the ways our guys contributed, but our competitive spirit and will to win a basketball game, was at a high level. Obviously we were 2-3 at home coming into the game. We want to have a winning record at home, obviously, and we just grinded out the game.
Bill?
Hey Frank, it was obviously a different starting lineup with Markeith and Wesley. Just how did you get there, and what kind of inspired that change, and what do you think?
Yeah, just managing the roster. I mean, the Wes Matthews matchup was about him being in the Bulls division the last 2 years and getting a lot of reps guarding Zach and the familiarity piece. There's some analytics, based on him doing a good job on Zach, and with Keith, it was called managing the roster. He's been a little bit shortchanged with minutes and hasn't really had a chance to blow it out and get some big run. And obviously he was a huge contributor for us last year in a championship run. So with AD out, it's an opportunity to just get him some extended minutes, because he's someone we believe in, and he had a great performance tonight.
Okay.
Frank, Trez said the other day that you guys just have a free-flowing offense, and everybody's allowed to play their game, play to their strengths, and we're seeing that attitude kind of manifest itself. He had that play late where he put the ball on the floor, finished with contact. Obviously, his numbers have been strong. How much of that approach that you guys have do you feel like it's opening up levels to his game that maybe you guys didn't even know when you pursued him as a free agent? And can you speak to his characterization of your guys' offense and system being free-flowing?
Well, we play with a lot of randomness, and we empower our point guard on the floor, whether it's Braun or Dennis or Alex, to call the action, with my ability to, put guys in spots when needed. But we empower our group to play with good offensive concepts, as much as anything. The spacing, the screening angles that we want to execute, knowing each other's strengths, whether it's playing through Mark at the top of the key and delay, and knowing that when he has the ball, we're speed cutting all over the place, or if we're going to play in the pick and roll game with Trez, he has that ability to roll the basket or throw it back and punch it into him in the post. We're just learning each other, and that's part of the randomness, that we want. And guys have seemed to, are getting more comfortable each game in that type of system.
Last three here, we'll take Dan.
Hey Frank, you mentioned that you guys had a losing record at home going into this game. When you played San Antonio, they had been in Los Angeles for I think 3 days before you guys got here. The Clippers will play the Bulls, and the Bulls will have been in Los Angeles longer than them too. Is that just sort of, is that one of the reasons you expect this year, the home court advantage, obviously, without fans is a factor, but just the way the travel and the baseball travel, do you think that'll have an impact on winning at home?
Yeah, who knows? You know what I mean? It's certainly an unusual season. I think the league-wide road teams have a better record than home teams. I think I saw that stat somewhere that the home team's winning percentage is 47% or something like that. I think a big part of that is the fans, and probably like you just alluded to, maybe another part of it is, teams aren't getting off flights the night before. They're in the city for a couple days and have a chance to get comfortable. But it's certainly unusual, and but that doesn't change the mindset that we want to be dominant at home.
Last two, Jovan.
Hey Frank, you guys hit the 10-game mark tonight, and I'm just curious, how would you assess this opening stretch of the season, and has anything surprised you or stood out?
Well, I would assess that we're a work in progress. We still have a lot of work to do to tighten things up. We're still in a really an early evaluation phase of learning about how our new pieces fit, and what this year's team looks like, and we're still looking at a lot of different combinations, putting guys in a lot of different spots, to continue to learn and evaluate and try to win games as we're doing so. Has anything surprised me? That's tough to answer after the game. It's tough to put my finger on one thing.
Okay, last question, Brad Turner.
How you doing, Frank?
Good, Brad.
Good. Wesley's had 2 other games where he shot the 3 very well, and he did that again tonight. What have you seen out of him that gets him going like that?
Well, he's a good shooter. I always believe the ball's going in when Wes shoots it. He didn't start hot out of the gates, but it was never anything I worried about. I think if we continue to work for shot quality, he's going to knock down threes. He's shown that throughout his career. So, it's just a matter of him getting quality shots.